Okay. We're back in the Gold Wing groove. Forgive the terrible singing. It's 1,000,000 degrees out here, and we are back on the Gold Wing. I just thought it'd be nice to go for a ride. I haven't uploaded any motorcycle videos. To be 100% honest, I haven't been riding much. I found that it's kind of a weird thing. So normally I would take the Gold Wing to work, and the problem is when I'm on call, I'm having a hell of a time connecting. I use an iPhone, connecting my headset to the bike to the phone, and it's always very finicky. But lately it's just not working all that well. And when you're on call, obviously you have to be able to take phone calls on your vehicle. That's the expectation. And it just hasn't been working. So and I would take the fun bike, but it's kind of loud and I can't hear what people are saying on the phone. So, not that this bike isn't fun. This is a pretty fun bike too. But the ZH2, I have not managed to have a horrendous accident on it yet. I got it tuned mostly because it was running lean after I put on that slip-on muffler. I'm not sure that makes sense. It just felt like it was running lean. But regardless of what was going on, cool old car, I felt like it was running a little lean and a little hot, so I decided to get it tuned anyway. And I wasn't looking so much for more power as I was just looking for, I don't know, a smoothing out of the deceleration, like it was popping a lot. Yeah, which is fine. I love the sound of that, but I don't want to wreck the bike. So yeah, I haven't noticed any difference really, other than it doesn't pop as much on deceleration. And what else? I guess I was on vacation last week, and so I was away and I had to take the truck. Both days that I was driving to Miramichi, it was raining, so I didn't really want to take the bike in the rain. Caught some salmon, so that's kind of a big story that's going on right now. There's been, like, Atlantic salmon have been pretty much going extinct, and last year there were none. Like, I didn't catch a fish after May. And now we're catching all kinds of grills, which are like first-year return salmon. And I don't think anybody caught one last year. So it means that hopefully the fish are coming back, which would be good. Because they're great fish to catch and release. They're a hell of a sport fish. I kind of wish we would have a stocking program for them, just to get them past the par stage so that the striped bass stop eating them, because there are so many striped bass in the Bay of Fundy going up into the mouth of the Miramichi. When they're spawning, the whole river looks like it's boiling, and that's just too many. It means they're out of balance, and the Department of Fisheries and Oceans is really slow when it comes to managing anything, and they'll let a species essentially go extinct before they intervene. So you know, I think it's been a good sign. Like, it's been promising that we're seeing more salmon this year, and hopefully the trend continues in that direction. I'm not sure where I'm going. I guess I was going to turn off there and I kind of forgot to, so we're going for a little highway cruise. I'm just putting that windscreen up for the sake of the sound. So I talked last time I was on the bike, I talked about getting a new helmet, and I ended up I watched a lot of those Ryan F9 videos from Fortnite, and he recommended the Scorpion carbon full face helmet, and I bought it and I love it, and but I'm currently wearing my Bell DLX or whatever because I don't have a chin mount for it to put the GoPro on, and it's such a light, nice helmet, I kind of don't want to put a chin mount on it. This one is just a little squeaky. I don't think it's broken. It never got dropped or anything. I think I've just worn the hell out of it, and it's just starting to show its age. But you know, I think this is fine for this year anyway. Maybe I'll get a chin mount for that one next year. I felt a bunch of carbon fiber helmets. I bought an LS2 carbon fiber modular helmet on sale. I'm not thrilled with it. It's not super comfortable. And normally I wear XL. I got that one in XXL because I tried them on. It just felt, XL felt too tight. I got a big head. But even the XXL is just not comfortable with the Senna headset in it. I don't know. I can't really explain it. The new helmet, which I haven't even really taken for a ride yet, I got the Senna Mesh S50, I think it's called. So I'm kind of excited to try that out and see if it'll do a little bit better communication with this infotainment system. Because right now, so my iPhone's plugged into this, but you can't get CarPlay. I can't take phone calls. I honestly don't know what's going on here with this system. Tomorrow morning we're going on a fishing trip. I'm taking Jack and Chrissy, so this is like a Friday, so Saturday I'm taking them up to the St. Croix River. And the last time I went, it was a complete and total fail. I don't know if I was making these videos at the time, but what happened was you know, use a marine battery basically and a trolling motor, and I've got that little 14-foot aluminum boat out front, and I don't know what happened. The battery just didn't charge and the motor died, and we were in a windstorm and we got blown over from the Canadian side to the US side, and it wasn't as aggressive as it is currently with like the borders and stuff, but I was really worried about, you know, that we'd get in trouble or get arrested or whatever. Hopefully they'd understand, like, we just got blown over, but I'm sure other people have tried that excuse before. So I paddled hell for leather to get back to the launch point. It took me 2 hours to paddle against the wind to get back, and when we finally got back, I had like chest pain, shortness of breath, thought I was gonna die. It was really, really unpleasant to pass this guy. Yeah, so Goldwing's been good. Kick her into sport mode. It's a little more responsive. This is like riding a battleship, especially after riding the other, you know, the ZH2. The ZH2 feels extremely tall. It's a really odd sensation, and I think they did that because they wanted to keep your feet in a standard position, but the pegs are high enough that you can really lean the bike over. But your center of gravity is quite high because you're sitting so high in the saddle, and the saddle is so high on the bike. Now, it's not dirt bike high. It's not like the DRZ 400 high, but it is, feels a little bit ergonomically a little bit weird. It's comfortable, but you are a bit of a wind sail when you're on it. Whereas this, you just kind of slip through the wind. Or at least the front end bashes the wind up for you, so you don't really feel it as much. I took Jack and his friend over to a golf course that I didn't know existed. There's a par 3 executive 9-hole golf course in sort of the backwoods of Rossay-Quisfam-Sis area. And I dropped them off, but the problem is he bought his clubs, you know, 3 years ago, and he's grown a foot taller since he bought them, so I had to give him my clubs, and I'm a foot taller than him. Well, not quite a foot taller than him, but you know, so he's pretty uncomfortable. We took them to the driving range, and he was like, this feels really off. I said, well, do your best, have fun. You're not going to be on the pro golf circuit. Just enjoy yourself. The news has been crazy lately, the whole Epstein thing. Now, you know, I've said this a long time. the political parties are going to try to frame Epstein in right versus left. But really, the only thing that matters is it's right versus wrong, right? If you're a normal dude who's worked hard and lived an honest life, you never got invited to a juvenile sex island, right? These people, they want you to think it's the other team doing this. No, they're all on the same friggin' team. They're all, you know, they're all elitist, wacko snobs who do this crazy overindulgent shit because they can. And they've gotten away with it, in my opinion. I also kind of have to think he was a professional blackmailer. That he brought these people to do these things and then kind of made a living out of blackmailing them. I could be wrong, but it seems like that. It seems like he collected lots of evidence, and a lot of people in power don't want that evidence to get out. And I'm not just talking about DJZ, I'm talking about both political parties, you know, influential celebrities, all those people. They all have a vested interest in his secret files staying secret. So I'm not particularly optimistic that we'll ever find out. You know, maybe towards the end of my lifetime, when all those people are dead, somebody will release it, like the Kennedy files or whatever. But I feel like there's a vested interest in keeping those things hidden. And the other side of it is that even if they release it, like even then in the future, those people have generational wealth and their families are going to be wealthy and powerful. I've always said this about Justin Trudeau. What irritates me is that we're not done with the Trudeau family. He was a useless jerk, but there's so much wealth in that family that they're going to be born into power, and we're going to have more of them. You know what I mean? I haven't decided what to make of the new guy, Carney. I wish they'd get rid of the gun ban. Anyway, I digress. The whole thing with the Epstein files, you know Bill Clinton's involved. After this week, you pretty much know Trump is probably involved. But, I mean, there's just so many people. I wouldn't be shocked if it was like the Trudeaus, the Laurentians from Canada, like the Laurentian elite families. I sound like I need a tinfoil hat, maybe. But, I don't know. I've known powerful people, and I've known people like that who feel like they can get away, who know, they don't feel like, they know they can get away with anything, because they always have. And I think of one family in particular that I know, and you know, they wouldn't be so much into that kind of thing, but they would do bad business deals. They would, and know that there would be never any consequences for it. They would get into politics because they knew that nobody would stop them. And then they would enrich themselves because they knew there would be no consequences. And when I look at the federal politicians in Canada, they're a lot like that. They're all from those types of backgrounds. It's frustrating. And so I've been trying to teach Jack a little bit about money management, because I think that's probably the best thing we can do for the future, is teach our kids financial management and intelligence. Not that, look, the guy with 2 motorcycles is that intelligent with his money, but you know, I set goals and I work toward them, and I try not to let myself get distracted by the baubles along the way, the things that I want. I do to some extent fall for those things, but like you know, I have an annual amount I want to save, and I have a certain return I want to get on my investments. I've always said, you know, 5% is good. It's conservative, but if I can save enough, then 5% after a few generations, if you can keep that financial intelligence going, that financial freedom buys influence, or at least counters the influence that already exists in these generationally wealthy families. And I think that's, I can't achieve it by becoming an overnight billionaire or millionaire. That's never going to happen. But I can help my future generations at least achieve something. There's another Goldwing. That was a weird wave. Or at least, be free of the influence of bad people, assuming they don't become bad people in the process, by learning financial wisdom. And I just encourage everyone to teach their kids basic finances, basic investments, how the stock market works. Things will change between now and the time I'm an old man. I might lose it all, even though it's, in conservative investments. But it's the best way we have of protecting ourselves. Also, stuff gets inflated away very easily, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I just feel like the policymakers they have a vested interest in preventing you from accumulating any influence or power. And real power earthly power comes from wealth. Now, part of my wealth strategy is that money is not everything. And I think that's a really important thing to teach our kids, that hard work for the sake of hard work is valuable. And you need, you want to earn enough to be comfortable, but you don't need extravagance. You don't need money for the sake of money. You accumulate what you can with a goal in mind, and you stay goal oriented. And I don't know, this kind of went off on a weird tangent. I've just been thinking about it a lot. I've been working a lot. I think that's kind of what gets me in this philosophical mood. I had a Bible study group that we were supposed to go next weekend up to our camp in Miramichi. I've been looking forward to it. Booked it 4 months ago. Made sure on the schedule that I wasn't on call. Because, summertime, I'm on call every second or third weekend when I'm here. So I confirmed that I was not on call, booked the time, booked the guys, got it all organized, and they put me on call. They just changed the schedule and put me on call. And I keep thinking, how much longer can I do this? But I got to keep my goals in mind, right? I'm in my 40s. I'm like mid 40s now. And I'm able-bodied and I'm able to work, and so I should work. And I should work with the goal of accumulating enough. My goal for retirement is to accumulate enough in investments that I can live off the dividends from my investments and from capital gains without biting into my principal, so that I have the same amount of principal each year, if allowing for market conditions and whatnot. And that way it gives a better platform for my son to springboard off with, if he can have that principle to start. And that sounds really dickish. Like, people get really upset about, you're complaining about generational wealth and you should be taxed of all this and blah blah blah. I don't think so. I think I've already paid tax on it all. And I think the people in power want you to hate the people who are trying, because it's a major threat to them. It won't just be their families able to do it if everybody else learns to accumulate wealth too. Whew. Boy, that's herky-jerky in sport mode. I haven't had this out for a ride for too long. So I'm not sure if any of that audio will be useful at all, because that was pretty that was pretty bad. It's pretty windy today. Seems to be dying down now. I find the audio on this gets really bad in a crosswind. So if the video happened to just start right here, it's because the audio was unsalvageable. Oh, slipped my clutch a little there. It's been a long time since I rode this. Whoa! It's got lots of grunt down low. I think these only make 100 horsepower at the wheel. I do. I don't think they make any more than that, but it feels like a lot down low and then in sport mode, but then it gets much softer as you accelerate. But this is feeling fast. I was kind of, I don't know, it's kind of down on the Goldwing lately. Just felt like it was too slow, but it's feeling spunky today. Maybe it's just me. All right, little trail braking. I do love riding motorcycles. This Goldwing has a weird seat. I don't know if I've really shown it, but it's got this seat backrest, and I'm not sure if it's because of the Tour model or if this is aftermarket. I would love to get rid of it. I'm too tall for it. Just for that backrest, not for the bike. Ugh. I bet there's good fishing down there. Yeah, maybe. Boy, it's a pretty evening, but I'm riding into the sun now. I'm going to put it down in tour mode, funny enough. Maybe even crack the helmet a little, get some air in. Holy shnikes, I'm hot. And we're going to make our way back towards home. So the boys will be done their golf game soon. Yeah, that's a little smoother. It's slower. Maybe I've been riding in tour mode, and that's why I felt kind of slow. But it is comfortable. Gosh, the bike is very comfortable. That adjustable windshield is the coolest thing. I'm sorry there are dead bugs all over it. I gotta wash everything. I gotta wash all my bikes. The Harley is at my mom's house, and my god, it's so covered in dust. It's got like a ½ inch of dust on it, and I feel so bad because it was my dad's bike. But I'm not riding it this year. I just kind of start it once in a while to turn the engine over and let it warm up, keep the oil going through it. But I've just got my hands full with everything else that's going on. I'm not getting to ride enough. Last year I think I got to ride a bit more, just because of being able to ride to work and the phone working with this thing. So honestly, if you have any suggestions for how to get the phone to connect to this with the headphone or the headset connected to this, just leave a comment on there, because it is my major complaint about this bike. I did see the 50th anniversary one came out, and there's it's very tempting, the gold colored one with it's like gold and brown. It's like the Aspen cake colors, and it looks pretty dope. The Raspberry Pi one is out as well, that like maroon I don't even know what you call it. And I'm not as tempted by that one, but the gold one is pretty sweet. I tend to like this bike in black more than any other color. Maybe an emerald green would be cool, but for some reason I just think this looks like it's supposed to be black. It looks like something Darth Vader would ride. It has TIE Fighter aesthetic. Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys follow a guy from Florida named Shade Tree Surgeon. He was kind of one of the first moto vloggers that I followed. He's very chill. He does a lot of work on his own bikes. And his name's Josh. He seems like a super nice guy. Anyway, he was just in a mass shooting. Fortunately survived, and I'm not sure anybody was killed. I think it was an attempted mass shooting is kind of how he worded it. But I guess his garage, like where he works on bikes, is in a storage facility. This guy just blasted through in an F-150, pulled out a handgun and started shooting the place up. So not really, I'm sure there's a backstory there, but anyway, he survived, which was good. So he let some dude shelter in his in his garage, and they pulled the door down. I had a big tiff with somebody once. This story's come back to haunt me. This guy, when I first bought a place in Miramichi, it was the guy who tore down all the woods across the water from me and built a trailer park there. And it's the only time somebody's threatened to shoot me was him. And then just recently, he's back on my new property, and I guess he's cutting down trees for the next door neighbor. Hopefully he doesn't wreck my property. I'm not sure I trust him not to on purpose. He knows who I am. So we'll see how that pans out. There's a fella, and I'm forgetting his name right now. I think it might be Jim. I can't entirely remember, but if you're watching, the guy from Fredericton, who I keep meaning to go out for a ride with, but we just never seem to have matching schedules and that kind of thing. He sent me a nice how-to motovlog about how to capture better like exhaust note and engine sound. Basically, you wear a backpack and put a zoom in it is the answer. I'd like to improve the production value of these videos. My editing time, I do a lot of editing of family videos. I put a sample up as one of my last dock rides. Is just a family vacation video basically. But I love editing stuff like that. I would love to be in the film industry. Like I love the technical aspects of film, and I was quite a photographer back in the day. And actually, as you know, I love writing, so you know, even writing scripts and that kind of thing. I just somehow would love to be involved in that industry. So I think I play pretend and edit my family videos and pretend I'm a professional video editor. I would love to do these ones in that same way. But I only know about 4 editing tricks with Premiere Pro. I don't really know how to do like a full Yammy Noob style, you know, with pop-up memes and all that crap. It is, I don't know. These rides aren't really conducive to that anyway. This is all just stream of consciousness. Just jibber jabber. Looking at the countryside and jibber jabbering away. But I would like to get good at editing. I ordered I bought a drone, which is kind of cool. Maybe I'll get a drone shot to edit into the end of this video. I'll try to do a drone shot of the bike. That'd be cool. If Jack were here, I'd get him to do it. He's better at it than I am. But what the heck was I about to say? Oh yeah, the drone is it's been like a game changer for how you look at the world around you. It's so neat. I think the max altitude is like not that high, but it certainly looks high when you're flying at FPV or whatever. I love it. And I actually ordered a new mirrorless camera too, although that doesn't really come into play for motorcycle vlogs because, you know, it's big like DSLR style Nikon. Oh, old Jeep Renegade. Nice. Will I get the cool wave back? Oh yeah. Cool guy wave. You know, I'm very blessed to live here. It's pretty much the only place in Canada I'd want to live anymore. And even then, I took Jack for lunch in town today because I was working at the downtown hospital. And man, St. John is, what a sad state. Drug addicts everywhere, just laying about. There's a guy having a bath in the Irving Beaver Fountain in the Loyalist Burial Ground. It's really hard. I'm having a hard time finding empathy for the people who are unwilling to try hard or to better themselves. Certainly, okay, look, if you have Down syndrome or you're disabled, I get it. But you know, if you have a bad back, instead of taking narcotics, you can take Advil and work a job where you're not doing heavy lifting. I don't know. I just feel like it's a choice at some point to live in a tent, take fentanyl, and do nothing. And I'm really struggling as a Christian guy. Now, I'm not a great one, so I don't want you to conflate my views with those of actual Christianity. As a Christian guy, I believe in taking care of people who can't take care of themselves. I believe in helping the people who need help and will take it and then use it to better themselves. But I'm having a real hard time with the people who won't work. I think there was in Thessalonians, maybe, there's a verse about he who won't work won't eat, or something like that. I can't quote scripture at you, and I'm not saying the Bible isn't nuanced. It's stuff in the Old Testament that changes in the New Testament, all that stuff. I get it. But when people just won't help themselves, I'm having a really hard time with the idea that we should just let them live in a tent, steal from our cars, ruin the city, poop on the sidewalks. I hate that. I seriously hate it. Like, every other generation has managed to not become losers. And yeah, oh yeah, housing prices are expensive. I'm not saying they're not. But I'm saying it's not World War II. You're not facing that big a challenge. And yet, you didn't see everybody living in a tent during World War II smoking narcotics. I have a real problem with it. It's really disturbing me. And this might be just me admitting I'm a bad person. And I'm not going to put out an apology video if everybody gets mad at me for saying this. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous that... I also think it's ridiculous that in Canada, in New Brunswick, we pay, 52.75% income tax and 15% sales tax, and you got to pay property tax, and you got to pay an annual registration tax on every vehicle, and you're buying the system. You're the one paying for the system, and they treat you like shit. Pardon my language. They treat you like garbage, and they say you're just privileged. You know what? Fuck you. We're taking more than half of what we earn and giving it to you, and you're spending it on drugs for addicts. You're spending it on administrators or whatever for the healthcare system, but no doctors or nurses, no new beds. We've added 100,000 people, 125,000 people to the province, and there's not a single extra hospital bed. It's shameful. It's shameful that the social contract is so broken, that the people paying taxes are not being kept safe by the taxes they're paying. That was the whole point of taxes. And instead of spending taxes to make sure the taxpayers are safe, they're spending them to make themselves feel like we're generous, wonderful people. And we look at a drug addict and we think that's a victim and they need free drugs, and then they won't get AIDS. No, they need to get off drugs, and they can't be stealing from the people paying taxes. That's so backwards. And when you complain, like, you're so privileged. No, I'm not privileged. I paid for this. I paid for police. I paid for the police. I paid for fire departments. I paid for healthcare. We can't get healthcare. The police don't do anything. I assume the fire department is working okay. That's probably the last thing to go. But I don't know. I'm pissed. I'm seriously pissed. I paid last year hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes, and like my stuff gets stolen out of my car, and I don't even bother reporting it. Like, why would you? What? They're not going to do anything. Somebody, who was it? A friend of mine had something rather important get stolen, and the police told them don't even bother filing a report when they called. Like, this guy owns what? I won't say what business he owns. He owns a business. He pays a ton of taxes. He employs a ton of people. You're paying taxes to be protected, and they're telling you, oh, don't even bother. We're not even going to do it. And then the police have the audacity to go on Facebook and post, you know, shame posts about people they caught speeding in their Italian sports cars or whatever. And I think, oh yeah, that's going to make everyone go, yeah, fuck that guy, that rich asshole. That fucking guy probably paid like 10 policemen's salaries in tax. You know, those cars are like $1 million. If you can afford one, you're paying a shit pile of tax, especially if it's got Canadian license plates on it. Anyway, the other side of it is we have all this special treatment for people who aren't, I'm just going to say it, who aren't white. And I don't, look, if you're black, I don't care. Well, I grew up that everyone's equal. I'm not saying this is a racist thing. What I'm saying is the special treatment for people who are not white but also not from Canada. So like we have special treatment for people from India who are coming here pretending to go to college, and they go to this diploma mill school run also by Indian scammers, and then they work as Indian scammers. And like our Tim Hortons is our big coffee place, it's all run by Indian people. And I got to tell you, it's not the same as it used to be. And it's not their, well, it's kind of their fault. They scammed their way in, pretending to be students. But I'm going to get in trouble for this video. To be honest, I don't care. Look, I just don't care. But you go to the drive-thru and they don't understand you. And look, I understand. I don't speak Punjab, but I'm not in India. You know. If you're here and you're working in the service industry, you should probably speak the language, but they get, you know, temporary foreign worker benefits from the government for hiring these people. And these people, I do sound like a racist. I have lots of Indian friends, by the way, most of whom work in the hospital, some of whom watch these videos. So please don't take this personally as an affront against people from India. I'm talking about this specific cohort. But they don't speak enough English to really understand how to take your order. And I had the weirdest damn thing happen the other day. I ordered a coffee with 2 cream, and they gave me a black half coffee, half tea. I guess tea rhymes with cream. Maybe it was a bad speaker, but I've never had the service be that bad before. And I had a sandwich and it tasted like celery. Like they'd obviously been contaminated with something. I had to throw it out because I don't know what the hell they make with celery in it. But I just don't trust that place to get coffee anymore. And we've brought in all these like low trust individuals, and then the number of scams going on, the phone scams and the email scams, and like it's 1,000 times worse than it used to be. Whether that's people in Canada or whether they've just, you know, your information gets sold to a call center in India, I don't know. But look, at the end of the day, people do what they have to do to survive. But this is like, it's really hurt our society, I feel like. And the idea that you're not allowed to complain about it has doubly hurt our society. The idea that it's racist to notice. I don't think it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm racist, but that label almost doesn't mean anything to me anymore. What are you gonna do, fire me? Go ahead, and then I'll sue you. Like, because I have an opinion. Because I think this is hurting the country and not helping it. This out of control immigration is just like, and just building loopholes for scams. It just serves a few people, CEOs of, like, you know, Tim Hortons, man, you know, the people who franchise owners at Tim's, Walmart owners, like, those guys all benefit because A, it depresses the labor price, and B, they get incentives to hire these guys over Canadians. But now Canadians can't get jobs. Like, you're growing up in the system, you think you're going to get a fast food job as, like, a white kid born in Canada? No fucking way. No way. Or, hey, look, or a black kid born in Canada, or a Chinese kid born in Canada. Is that the wrong, that's the wrong term. Let's say Asian. There's no fucking way that you're going to get a job over the manager's preferred cohort of guys from India living 22 an apartment, going to a fake college. They've built this. This isn't a flaw in the design. This is the design. They've built it to do this, to save money for a few people at a huge societal expense. And now you're racist if you say, well, you're here under false pretenses. You're just like Donald Trump. You're going to call for ICE, baby. No. But if you didn't pay tax into the system here, you don't just automatically deserve to reap the rewards of living here. I don't know. It's just everything we've built is turning to shit. Like, you import India and this becomes India. And I don't want to live in India. I want to live in a trusting society. I don't know. This is like a terrible rant. This is going to get me canceled for sure. But look, I only have 405, 6, 7 something subscribers, so it's not like I was ever going to make money off the YouTube channel. Well, for the rest of this lovely ride, we should just relax and enjoy the scenery. You know, that is where this all came from, too. I was saying how blessed we are to live here, because at least here you can get out to the countryside and there's space, and you're not constantly confronted with it. But, like, okay, I got a call the other day, yesterday, and I use Orkin to control, like, mice and ants and stuff like that. Orkin is like a pest control company here. And it was an Indian lady, and she said she was calling from Orkin about my account, and she wanted to offer me, you know, mosquito control for upcharge. And she was trying to upsell me on this mosquito control, and I was kind of like, this is a sign you're getting older. It's kind of like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I don't really like all the mosquitoes around, that kind of thing. And then I said, well, wait a minute, what's my account number? It just occurred to me that maybe it was a scam. And she said, oh, I can't divulge that on the phone. I said, okay, well, what bank do you take my payments out of? Oh, I can't divulge that information on the phone. I said, okay, who's my regular Orkin guy who comes to my house every couple months? I don't have access to that information. And the number didn't come up as Orkin Canada, and so I just hung up on her. But, like, they obviously had my information to the point that they knew what town I lived in, and my phone number, and my first name. You just can't trust your information anymore. Like, you can't, I don't know. It sucks. And if I were my mom, if my mom got that call, I could see her giving the goddamn credit card number to the lady on the phone. I shouldn't swear, sorry. Damn, I'm bad at that. I have quite a good vocabulary, but I rarely use it. I tend to fall into curse words and colloquialisms. Anyway, I don't know what else to say. I'm just kind of, I needed to get out for a bike ride. I'm just feeling a little down in the dumps about next weekend. Find out I'm on call. I've done a ton of call. Been working a lot. All my friends who I started with are retired. I'm in a weird space now because I'm with young people, and I'll tell you something, like, they're better academically than I am, of course, but the work ethic is different, and that's starting to weigh on me quite significantly. Like, the idea that, well, you know, I think I only really want to work 3 days a week. Well, that's not an option. Well, I have to. It's for my mental health. What the fuck? Mental Health Monday. You know. No, don't know. Never heard of that one. Patients are still here. All the work still has to get done. You know, I don't know. It's just... I think COVID really fucked up a lot of people. Sorry. COVID really disoriented a lot of people in terms of their ability to concentrate, their willingness to put in maximum effort for a prolonged period of time. It's tough, man. And maybe I'm complaining about the guys from India coming over and taking all the jobs, and maybe the Canadians wouldn't work if they got hired. Maybe there is an entitlement problem here, but I don't think so. There's no entitlement problem that you can't correct. Well, maybe there is. Maybe I just am unwilling to make the effort to try and correct it because I don't want the fight. Skim around the outside. Alright, we'll go in sport mode for the last little bit of our trip. In the shade, it's beautiful. It's a very hot day today. In the heat, it is almost unbearable. Yeah, my neck is getting sore. Man, something with the ergonomics. It's this, I think it's this backrest. It's pushing me forward like this. And the helmet feels heavy on my neck. I don't know. I'm hoping the carbon helmet will be a little bit better. But even without the GoPro hanging off my chin, I find my neck gets sore on this bike. It never got sore on the Harley. I will say that. In defense of the Harley Davidson, when you're sitting like this, it doesn't get sore. When you're sitting reclined a little bit, it doesn't get sore. But when you're leaned forward just a little bit, it does. We'll do one pull up on the highway here. Although we're stuck behind a Toyota Yaris, so it's probably not going to be all that exciting. Try to let them get ahead a little bit. Here we go. I don't know. It's got grunt down low, and then up top it just kind of blah. Makes a lot of noise. I should mention I'm 250 something pounds, so that might be part of the problem here. This is like 2 up for most couples. I am tall, I'm 6'3", but not tall enough to weigh 250 pounds. I'm not built like Schwarzenegger. I'm built like a bag of milk. Alrighty, well, I'm gonna pull into the Irving and we'll turn off the video, fill up the old hog here, and then maybe get a drone picture for the thumbnail. That'd be cool. Alright, so until next time, stay safe out there, guys. It's nice to be back. I'm sorry if that was an offensive one.